Hi, Tom Hill III, once again at the Strike Zone Studios in Upper Higher Wolcott. First day of spring, beautiful, with Bob the Builder. Hello, my man.
How you doing today, Tom?
Great. Always fun to be at Strike Zone Studios. And I got a letter from Elon Musk. He wanted to know the 5 things we did last week. So we're going to talk a little bit about that with Bob and I.
I only got 3, so don't fire me.
No, Elon is in charge of firing.
Yes, exactly.
But if we produce the 5 things we did last week, we were pretty lucky to keep our jobs.
We'll
and
see.
My job, commercial real estate broker. You, Bob the Builder?
Yeah, Warner Consulting and Construction, LLC.
All right, what's your number one thing you did last week?
Number 1 was I started my first project in Middletown for a company called LYP Management. And the property management company that has over 1,000 units under management in Connecticut. So,
Rental apartments?
Apartments, all kinds of different buildings, commercial, etc.
Mixed use.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing. What are you doing for them?
Basically, they wanted me to get involved with pricing out, which is the next thing I've been working on this week, is pricing out the build out of 2-bedroom apartments. And so they wanted to start with, the first job we did was basically demo cleanup of the whole space, because it was not just full of miscellaneous items, but some of the steel studded walls and anything we could take out to get rid of, we did.
And you're going to build a new inside.
Yeah, build out the inside. Had meetings down there yesterday. Meetings again tomorrow with different contractors, stair guys, HVAC, plumbing.
We do it all with Bob the Builder.
Yeah, we do it all. Electricians, etc.
So is that it for number 1?
Well, that's kind of 1 and 2. I'm going to break that into 2.
All right, I'll call on you again in a minute. All right, last week I was awarded a big new car dealership in Hartford, and I was thrilled to get it. I've showed it 9 times, and I'm trying to sell it, and I think I will. And while I was up there showing it to someone for the second time, I was lucky enough to get a couple of the former mechanics to help me put signs up, and I didn't have to climb a ladder.
There you go.
Back to you.
Well, the last thing was just to have a client that purchased a very large home in Oxford, and it had a number of structural issues with it, where the prior owner did not follow the plans that he had approved. And so we had to bring the architect/engineering company out to figure out everything he did, what he had to do to fix it all, and so we got all that straight. And I had to have a meeting with the homeowner to explain to him all the work he was going to have to do to correct everything.
Whoa, better get Mako.
Yeah.
Better call Bob the Builder.
A lot of stuff. He's not in construction, so he wouldn't know. But I knew when I walked in the door there were issues.
Well, we got lots of people that have issues. Last night, this is number 2, I attended the Malcolm Baldrige event at the Aquaturf for the Waterbury Regional Chamber.
There you go.
I was invited to be a guest at the Savings Bank of Danbury table, which was a thrill. Big event. It's their biggest event of the year. Hundreds and hundreds of people. Aquaturf does a great job, delicious food. And the award winners were Joe Murphy for Membership Guy of the Year. The second award went to Margaret Warner from Litchfield Bank, and she had a beautiful speech. Joe Murphy, the fellow before her, owns Pure Junk Media, and he has a digital radio station. And the fellow who won the Malcolm Baldrige Awards was Joe from Works Digital Advertising, WORX.
Okay.
Joe Gugliotti up in Prospect. And they do national, but what they're known for is, especially lately, is Waterbury.com. And he told a story about how the Waterbury has gotten millions of dollars in economic development dollars spent here because of this new website and all the digital marketing that Works has done for the city of Waterbury. So interesting that a city or town would hire an advertising agency for economic development.
Huh.
Interesting.
Huh.
Okay, back to you.
Is a question for you, Tom. Is Savings Bank of Danbury still Savings Bank of Danbury, or do they go by another name?
They go by Ives Bank.
That's what I thought.
And any idea why a bank like Savings Bank of Danbury, which has a great reputation and has grown like mad, would change their name?
I think I asked somebody that question. I haven't gotten the answer yet. I do not know.
Okay, the answer is that they have expanded all down through Fairfield County, out into New York beyond Brewster. They loan almost anybody anywhere in Waterbury. And I said, wow, we think in Waterbury of Danbury being a great upscale corporate market near New York. But when their marketing people, Savings Bank of Danbury's marketing people, looked at this when the talk came from their board to change the name, it came to, they do a ton of business in Stamford and Fairfield County.
Right.
And Stamford thinks they're way better than Danbury. And their marketing consultants told them that they would be good to rename the bank Ives. And the Ives is Mr. Ives that originally started the bank 175 years ago. So they thought that was good. And now they can be in a much bigger banking footprint, not using the name Savings Bank of Danbury. And I thought it was fantastic, and I've had a great run with them. I'm on their board. But there's your story about why Savings Bank of Danbury changed to Ives Bank.
Marketing.
Yeah, more customers, marketing. All right, what do you got there?
Well, I guess the next thing would be being here with you today. And
Can I ask you? So you've actually you got your new business cards. You redesigned your Strike Zone logo.
Yeah.
You got the shirts and the hats coming. So you've been knowing how to marketing too.
Yeah.
1 second. That's our producer, Jeff. He probably did all this work for you, Bob.
Yes, he did. My new business cards for Warner Consulting and Construction, LLC. We just got them today. They look great. Going to be really great. We're going to get a couple banners done, not just for Warner Consulting and Construction, but for Strike Zone 3,
Which is?
the baseball, softball training facility I run out here. I've run for a number of years, and I got a couple of kids coming in, actually, a couple of high school young men that we're going to talk to a little bit.
They're going to give me the bump.
They're going to, we'll see.
Or the boot. All right, so I have one. You can think about this. This is my number 3. Bob's on the phone all the time, and a lot of times I have to text him because I can't get him. So you think about this, because I made 20 calls a day this week. Every day, as per my coach, Rod Santamassimo, I get coached to see if I can do better with my commercial real estate business. And I must admit, some days I make 10 of the 20 calls on the side of the road, and I have to make it my business to force it in. So think just a little bit, Bob, for this audience, because being a busy Bob the Builder contractor and a baseball coach, you probably have to make a lot of phone calls too. So how about it?
It's a ton of phone calls, emails, text messages. It's a matter of how early does the phone start going off, or how late does it stop going off.
Well, if you're lucky, people call you. But for me as a broker selling property, leasing property, I got to make calls to move the ball down the field.
Yeah, listen, I always joke, today I'm calling the same people I called yesterday.
That's true. 5 times sometimes, certain ones. But if you want to get what you got to get done, you get it done. All right, what next?
I've got meetings I had to schedule for again, this project down in Middletown. And even though that I had them scheduled for tomorrow morning, it's and confirmed, still calling them back again today to make sure nothing's changed.
Confirm and reconfirm. I am with you. And if you got to drive all the way to Middletown in that big truck of yours,
yes,
it's gas, it's expenses, it's secretary, it's your office, it's your lights, it's your heat. So today's world, I don't know about you, but you're right. I have to reconfirm every meeting, and it's a lot of hustle to make if you want to make a decent living.
You stop taking things for granted. If you take it for granted, you're going to be standing out in front of a building by yourself.
It's so I hate that, but it's so true. All right, number 4. This morning I got up at the crack of dawn and hustled down to Danbury. And boy, if you've driven between Waterbury and Danbury in the morning, it's a haul. Too much traffic. It's like being in a Talladega car race. 3 lanes wide, everybody going 80. But with that said, the CBA is the Commercial Brokers Association of Western Connecticut, which I've been a member of for 35 or 40 years. We had 30 really top-flight commercial brokers, and we were addressed by attorney Pam Elkow, who is strictly an environmental attorney. And what's happening is the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, DEEP, have been ordered by the governor to try to reset and get rid of the Connecticut Transfer Act, and they want to come up with new regulations. And instead of the Transfer Act, you have to report when you're selling a dirty building, now they're going to have you report spills and get rid of the Transfer Act. And she came to talk to us about it because we've been working on changing this system for 10 years. And it's finally at the legislature. So she came to explain to all the brokers because, half the buildings we see are polluted in this day and age. This is a brown state manufacturing history. So went down there and they had a beautiful breakfast. It was in a beautiful office building. Danbury's got a lot of beautiful buildings. So that was my morning. And then I think I had lunch with Ron Pugliese, Economic Development President from NEDC, and then hustled up to see you.
Yeah, brownfields, you were talking about that. The discussion we had with Kevin last week, and I look at it like
Kevin Taylor from Nest.
Yeah, from Nest. And sometimes I think organizations like himself, because they qualify for certain state and federal funding, local city funding, etc., have a better opportunity to clean up some of those properties than the average private developer that's trying to be profitable. And
they won't touch him.
No.
They won't touch him. But I think you are a perfect guy for Nest because you know everything about all types of construction. How long have you been in the business, and how did you gain this vast amount of knowledge in that head of yours?
Started running our first business in about 1981 and incorporated in 82, and I've opened up a number of different businesses since then. But really, the knowledge just comes from all the different projects that I've done throughout the years, whether it be an industrial location or commercial or residential.
How many houses have you built?
Golly, one development was about 150 plus, and we've done a number of others in different locations,
And you've also learned how the government works with permits and disaster with Storm Sandy.
Yeah, that was a great experience. Storm Sandy, working with the Department of Housing and their representatives and the work we did for a number of years. Initially, my son actually helped get me involved in it. There was a number of different bits of paperwork you had to submit all online and whatnot, and the thought process was it wasn't just about doing the work, it was about trying to network with other people working through it for a number of years. Hopefully we would find some good people that we could network into other work outside of Hurricane Sandy, and actually probably the biggest client that we've ever had came from that.
Work makes more work.
Yeah.
Okay, by the way, from your great reporting, Bob, you're not fired. I'm not fired.
Thank
and
you.
Jeff, our producer, is going to email these back to Elon Musk to make sure that we stay here for this weekly podcast. And if there's anybody out there in the audience and they would like to take up their own podcast but don't know how to do it, don't have the studio or the people, we could do 10 podcasts for you to get you started, and if you like it and it works, we could enhance your podcast and produce it for you long term. And the fees will be very affordable. And if it's anything as successful as ours, we're getting phone calls from people that are seeing these podcasts, and it's meaning business for us. So we are here at the Strike Zone Studios. You can see the sign right up here, to be constructed. And also, Bob runs the Strike Zone downstairs for baseball coaching. And I'm Tom Hill from Tom Hill Realty and Investment, commercial real estate broker, 203-755-HILL. This is Bob the Builder from Warner Consulting. Your phone number, please.
203-982-3481.
So get a hold of us if we can help you. And thank you again for tuning in.